Generic and T are called placeholder type names. String, float, etc. are actual type names. In line 7, call the swap users function and swap user1 and user2. So you can see we have a generic function here called swap users. It's written as func swap users. It's a generic type called T, and then we have two parameters here. The first parameter, A, is an in-out parameter of type T, and the second parameter, B, is also an in-out parameter called T. Remember the syntax here. We use the underscore if we want to omit the parameter name when we call the function, and we add the in-out keyword if we want to change the value of the parameter that we're actually sending into the function. So you can see that all we're doing here is we're saying that the parameters AB, change them to BA, so we are swapping the values. We then have a variable called user1 equals Amy and user2 equals Bob. And now what we want to do is swap their names. So the way to call the function is we say swap users, and then we say swap user1. Oh, what am I doing wrong here? Because it's an in-out parameter, when calling the function, you have to use the ampersand sign. So swap user1, comma, you have to add the sign user2. That is the mistake that I made. So even I forgot this for a second. And the reason that you have to add this custom sign, the ampersand sign, for this function is because this function uses in-out parameters. Otherwise, if you omitted that sign, if you just read this statement, if you read line 7, you wouldn't even realize that you're dealing with a function that has an in-out parameter. And so that is why when you call a function, there's a custom operator or a custom sign that you have to use in Swift, and that's important to remember, in addition to the generics that we're using. And obviously now when we print user1, we are expecting Bob, and you can see that is exactly what happened.